What was the topic and why are you writing random topics? What was the...
Do with school. Yeah.
Okay.
Mine was a field trip.
Descriptive story, theme, school. Okay, so for you just wrote about how you're doing in school, Gogo? I said write a descriptive story. Did you create a story or are you writing about yourself?
Just writing about school.
I said descriptive story. Even if it's about yourself, then it should be a story. So let's see. All right, Kira, read his for me.
No, it's like I couldn't see anything because like I don't know, like my WeChat's like broken. I can't. And when I said it, I could only see like it's like the bottom saying like theme equals school. Like it didn't say like descriptive. So I thought we were literally supposed to write about like how school was.
I'll just ask you to tell me that. I don't need you to write that, right? When you write, I want you to take it a step further. Right? Either be creative or be descriptive. You can talk about school, but is it descriptive? School is really fun. No, already this whole thing doesn't pass my bar of descriptive essays, right? Remember freezing time, choosing a situation, telling me some emotions. Read the first page for me.
What do you mean, how's school going for me?
He's like asking himself a question, I think. A rhetorical question. How's school going? Question mark. For me, it's going great. So there shouldn't have been a comma here. This should have been a question mark, right? And a new sentence. For me, it's going great. So even simple stuff like that. Go. You're in Australia. Okay? You're English. Raise up your own standards. Alright, go.
Besides the fact that I have lots of sport, which can be quite tiresome at times, school is really fun and I barely have any homework. Classes are unusually not too boring and we have many lessons doing fun things like sport, swimming, and Ninja Warrior courses. Do you find maths challenging? Well, in school, I don't. I am at the top of my class and lessons are quite boring as half of the time I'm just sitting there waiting for the rest of my class to finish. Tests on maths, however, makes me super stressed because I know I'm the best at maths and I put the pressure on myself to get the highest grade.
Alright, Gogo, come back. Gogo, you there?
That's exactly what I do.
Alright, okay, so I'm happy that you're good at math.
Like 1%, I'm just...
that you're improving on adding full stops, but look at the sentence. Besides the fact that I have lots of sports, which can be quite tiresome at times, full stop. And it's like, that's where I don't want you to add a full stop. You're not supposed to full stop, now you're adding full stops like random places. Right? If you're going to say besides, if you're going to start a thing with besides, then that means there's going to be something that comes after. How do we make this into what I want? Gogo, I'm going to tell you right now, and from here on out, please try to do this. Okay? I don't need to find out A, B, C, what happened in school. But based off of this, you know what you could have done? Remember freezing time? Right here. Sitting in your class being bored. Imagine you had to write one page about you being bored in class. That's what I'm looking for. You started talking to me about when you're bored, where your mind goes, or what boredom feels like, or describing that boredom so much that you have a whole page of different ways to describe boredom. Okay, that's what the whole point of English class. It's for you to explore your expressions. Or the second thing you could have focused on, making me super stressed, right? That stress you have to keep yourself number one, I would have rather you just write one page and focused on stress, right? And tell me the importance of staying up there and how hard it is, right? And use that quote, it is lonely to be at the top, and go into different descriptions, right? So if you find yourself, Kira, that goes for you too, writing about what you did and it's like a list, A, B, C, then stop, right? Choose an emotion in the ABC and then paint me a picture, right? It's almost like art class, okay? You have to draw a house. Is everyone's house going to look the same? I hope not, right? If it's art class, then the teacher will let you do whatever you want. Play around with the colors, do what's in your head. And so that's what I want when it comes to writing. It's like a piece of work, right? So this in art class equals you giving me a stick figure and a house. Okay? That's what it feels like if I'm the art teacher. But in English class, if I say, hey, write about this, you're supposed to come back like a piece of artwork, doing your best, trying to be creative, trying to be unique. And in terms of colors, it will be ideas, right? In terms of like style, it will be your sentences. So I hope you guys can change your perspective when you do work next time, especially when I give you work and it's said clearly, 1, 2, 3, do this, do that. Don't go write about your day, because that would be a diary, right? Did I say diary? Write me a diary about what happens in school, right? If it's not a diary, then don't do a diary. And just within these 2 paragraphs, I could tell you, right, Gaga, so many things you could have chose to focus on, and then paint me that picture. You love painting, right? Can you just switch your mindset and think also that every piece of pages you put out should also be a piece of artwork? And even though it's black and white, right, allow me to appreciate the artwork through my eyes. Right, so hopefully you guys can learn from this. And again, right, Gaga, it's been like the 2nd or 3rd week where your writing is either off topic, right, not aligned with what we're doing, or where I have to like stop class for 10 minutes to tell you what is wrong with it, right? But I want to see an improvement. And that improvement, starts with first putting, you guys know that, you're not supposed to add the S with fish, right? You guys know that? It's one of those words like sheep. But you can when you're talking about different types of fishes. When you have a mackerel with a Nemo and you're trying to talk about different the types of fishes, then you have to add the S. So it depends on the context, but mathematics, yeah, mathematics. Like math is already short for mathematics, so. All right, Gaga, your turn to read, and Kira, I'm pretty sure this week, we'll have, you can show Gaga a little bit of what I'm looking for. And in terms of creativity, it's already there. Like Pandaland, as simple as that sounds for me, that is already better than writing about your life, right? Kira's life in school, you thought about a Pandaland. All right, our school bus. Gaga, let's go, read.
School bus drove through a dark tunnel. It felt like ages since we saw brightness when a ray of sunlight brushed past us. Unlike other trips, this trip was up to a panda land to adventure. Our bus got crowded by pandas wearing armor pointing their swords at us.
Wait, that's a huge jump in terms of a story. You're going on a trip, but then your bus is already crowded by pandas? Yeah, maybe you want to be clear. It feels like you were forced on the bus if there were pandas pointing guns at you or swords at you, right? So if that's the case, then you have to make that clear in the beginning. But in the beginning, you made it sound like, yay, we're going on an adventure, right? So that difference, you almost have to kind of be clear, or the story feels like it jumps from one place to another. All right, keep reading. Maybe we're missing some context, so we have to read on to find.
That was just
Then you have to make it clear.
Now this is all because my best friend Haley. Just a few days ago, she signed me for a Girl Scout adventure in a panda land. As you may see, I don't like adventures. I like stuffing my head in books or magazines, so much more fun. Now I am in the panda land. I was describing at the start. Although it might seem fun living with pandas, but those pandas treated us like slaves for that month at Panda Land. This is why we wanted a way out of this mess. We made a plan. Step 1, take the key. Step 2, go out without getting caught. This simple plan was rather hard. We had to focus and keep quiet. I tiptoed across the damp and wet rim of bamboos. only to see the Panda King holding the key in his hand. My feet tremble when I go a step closer to the key, keeping in mind the possibilities of getting caught. I slice. Is it supposed to be slanced?
I slided.
Oh, slided. Okay. Not sliced, right? Slided. Slid.
Slant. Good. Slant.
Slid. Slid.
Isn't slant? Doesn't slant means like take steal or something?
Slant?
Slanced. SAANCED.
No, I don't think that's a word. Anyways, keep reading. I slid the key.
I slid the key out of the king's hand and sped out the room as fast as I could quietly. The only hope was on my shoulders. I quickly unlocked the doors and sprinted with my friends to our human world. The run felt rather easier to bear than the bus ride. Within 5 minutes, a slow breeze pushed past my body as we reached the final exit. A sigh of relief left my body and we all shouted, "We're free," to the world, knowing that we were actually released. We looked backwards, only to see a cat there but nothing else. Home sweet home. This smell is what I was craving for months. I finally don't have to listen to pandas anymore as I flopped onto my bed. I never want to go to that world again.
So, Kira, I want to show you one thing, is that's all I care about. Okay, the fact that you've gotten to this point of writing where you know how to describe, you know, like a bunch of good parts, right? Damp and wet, where you're starting to describe stuff. Slow breeze, that's not the first time, right? You said the rip. Those are the stuff. As long as you can write like that, all you need to do is expand the story longer, right? The whole reason this story seems kind of like wonky is because you only had a short amount of time to write novels, right? They're like long and stuff like that. So for me, that's all I need to see. You can write like this, and all you need is a longer, you know, maybe some pointers in terms of how to make a story good. Then that's the easy part, right? Add some plot twists, add more characters, add more conflict. All that stuff comes easy, but now you can write like this. That's what I care about, okay? You keep writing like this, and then you can apply it to a long story, a short story, and you will start finding that beauty in the language. And I'm starting to see that from you. That's good. You know why? Because that means when you start to read, you're also going to be a better reader, right? Because once you can start writing like this, you also, right, when you're reading. So, you know, this week in terms of your writing, you know, a story, I'm not going to go in on because there's a million ways to make a story better. But in terms of your language, that's what I want. Okay, more of this. You did a lot of personification. There's a lot of description. In terms of story, there's conflict, right? You trying to get out of something. There's that in it in terms of the story. For a few, and that's it. Okay, if I gave you a longer theme, a bigger storyline, I'm pretty sure we will see a very well put together story. So Gaga, you read Kira's this week. Do you know what I want? Do you know what I want now from you? Right, no more diaries, and then it is something like this, right? I would say one thing she's missing is this. You did. My feet trembled. Right? There's this theme of fear throughout the book. Nothing to nitpick, right? And keep it up. I want to see creativity when it comes to time, right? When it comes to persuasive writing, I want to see knowledge. I want to see argument. I want to see good points. So that you guys can see that language, a tool. And depending on what you need in that situation, you're supposed to use that tool to make what you're supposed to put out. So when I say journal, I want you to put on that hat, right? That artist hat. Think of yourself as a painter and paint me a picture of the best creative story you can. But when I say a persuasive essay, I want you to put on that hat. Right? Think of you putting on some glasses and being really smudgent. Right? But you can use it within an argument. Okay? Once you master these two types of writing, there's not really that many other types that you're going to get stumped in. There are letters, there are speeches, will fall under persuasiveness, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, all these other types of texts that we can come up with. So master these two, and you won't be too far away from being good at writing. But if you can't even master one, how do we even go about tackling the millions and millions of types of different writings there are in the world, right? We haven't even got to like poems yet. Poems like a whole nother world in itself. Control your language to the best of your ability. And the problem is, guys, you're not using enough of these hard words. So let's get to our reading. We have like 10-15 minutes.